Welcome back to Two Spanners Piston Broke with Dottie, our 1977 MG Midget, here in Germany for another workshop session. Today I'm going to be focusing on aspects of the bodywork because in the last year I've started to notice one or two little blisters of rust forming on Dottie. I've got a couple down here just on the lower sill, and so I want to rub those back, treat the rust, and then prime and just go over it with a bit of paint. Let's get going. Sanded back this panel here, and actually it's bad news, I'm afraid. It's had a lot of filler used here. You can see filler here, and as I was coming under, these rust bubbles was actually quite extensive rust. So here, okay, and just along the bottom. So these holes here, which I can only assume were cock-ups by whoever did the work before. They were full of filler, and I've dug those out. So what I'm going to do, I've had a bit of a change of plan. Any money I have, as far as Dottie's concerned, I'm going to be saving it and then working on replacing this panel here. I'm going to degrease it and then get on with treating the rust. There are loads of different sort of rust eaters, rust preventers on the market, and leafing through Practical Classics magazine, I came across Built Hamber. Never tried it before. They're not sponsoring. I just read the reviews and it seemed to be very, very good. So if it's good enough for Practical Classics and their restoration projects, it's definitely good enough for Dottie. What it says is you paint it on over 2 coats. First coat, you sort of go this direction, wait 30 minutes for it to dry, and then you apply a second coat, sort of 90 degrees to the original, then leave that for a couple of hours to go off, which is great because I've got a couple of other jobs to do. Then I'll come back and I'll start to put some filler into these holes, okay? So let's see how I get on. It's quite thick actually. Goes on almost like sort of whipping cream. Probably doesn't taste as good as whipping cream. Okay, so I've allowed the rust eater a couple of hours now and it's gone black. So yeah, dry, totally good. We'll see how that goes. What I'm going to do is now apply some body filler. Right, I'm going to start adding some filler now. And I picked up some Isopol P38 body filler. It's the usual 2-pack body filler. It's quite good actually because rather than sort of say golf ball size, pea size, it just says for every 17 centimetre line you draw from the tube, 1 centimetre line of hardener. That's nice and simple. I like simple. Me is simple. And put 0.5 centimetre here, hardener, and then set about mixing it in. And as you can see here, you've got the colours. You want to get that mixed in nicely so you don't really see that it looks like raspberry ripple ice cream. So I flattered off the body filler, filled in some of the imperfections, and it's not going to be perfect. However, I've managed to stop the rot. So I went back to bare metal all the way up here. So I know the rest of the panel is rust free. Obviously, it will have to be replaced, but it's not going to creep up. So yeah, now I've just taped off, and I'm just going to put some rust prevention primer on, and we'll do a couple of coats of that. In between, I'll flat it off with some wet and dry paper. Then I'll be able to put some top coat on it, and yeah, hopefully I'll have averted any more rust for the time being. But let's go. But anyway, I'm going to go for a cup of tea now.
If you like taking care of new things, electric things, classic things, or even toy things, our range of merch can make you look good. You can even take care of vintage things.
Cheeky.
Okay, time for the colour. I'm using the Leyland Chartreuse, which this lovely colour is. A lot of people confuse Dottie with Primrose Yellow, but actually she's Chartreuse. And it was a colour that was a special order during the 70s. It was only available for 1976, which obviously confused me because she was a 77. I found out that she was actually manufactured in January 76. And I think it was a US special order colour that they would have painted the body shell in, and then how she ended up, UK spec, I don't know. But I'm very grateful to whoever put in that order because it's a beautiful colour. Midget and Sprite Car Club are fantastic to go to. Find them on Facebook. They were able to give me colour codes and all sorts of helpful support. Let's have a go with this. That's enough for now. I'm really going to go light on this. I targeted a bit more paint here where I did the work. So I put some on here and then a dust in here, and I'll gradually sort of fade it out. Although with the shut line here, BL spec, the shut line is about 3.5 inches from wing to sill. So you shouldn't notice it too badly. But I'm going to let that dry, give it a quick flat off with some wet and dry, and carry on. And you'll join us when I've finished it. So yeah, looking forward to catching up with you soon. Well, it's about 4 days since I applied the final top coat of the Chartreuse Yellow. Did about 3 coats. Then I set about with 1,000 grit, 1,500 grit, and finally a 2,500 grit paper, and managed to get it smooth. I'm actually quite happy with my results. I'm not a professional. It's 20 years since I picked up a rattle can and some body filler. 2 things that you will hear more about. Number one is, from here, you can see there's a colour discrepancy. I'm currently in contact with the manufacturer who provided me with the paint. It's got them off eBay, Scooby Paints. They sent me 2 cans. One of them much darker, almost sand glow. So I had to chuck that. The second one was closer. Admittedly, I don't know if this is original Chartreuse Yellow or this is original Chartreuse Yellow because it was resprayed in 2009. The other cars that I've seen in Chartreuse Yellow do seem to be more of this sort of lemony, limey green. This is a deeper, darker sort of yellow. So, yeah, it's not great, but it'll do for now. Okay, and hopefully I'll get a bit of cash back for the 1 rattle can that I had to bin. What I will say though is I set about this job hoping to, you know, dig out a rust bubble, fill it, flatten it off, paint it, and move on. And just basically keep doing that until I needed to do anything larger. Yeah, be careful what you wish for on that one. As I was digging out around the front sill here, it was just coming away in my hands. It was big lumps of filler and quite rusty down here on the seam. The floor does seem intact, and I know when I've had the carpets out and the seats out, everything like that, the floors are very solid. But this sill here will need replacing. So rather than just kind of like cry, run away, give up, I thought, let's turn a bad job into a good opportunity. I'll have a practice with some body filler and some rattle cans just to get my hand back into it, because the next time I do it, it'll have to be good. So that's pretty much what I've done on this job. I got back into the hand of being able to do some painting, some body work. I enjoy doing body work because you can sort of see where you've gone wrong and it doesn't catch fire if you go wrong. However, I am going to put Dottie into a body shop, probably in the autumn, if not the spring, and I'm going to have a new outer seal put on. Obviously, then we'll check with the inner seals. I'm hoping they're okay, but it'll definitely be an outer seal and then blending the paint in up to here. And I will actually get a scan of this colour so we can ensure ourselves of the closest paint. However, it's not quite a job ticked off the list. What it has been is one job which has now uncovered a whole shoebox full of other problems, which I'm going to have to tackle. But that's for another day. Dottie drives, which is brilliant. And I'll just make sure I always park her sort of in front of bushes or stand like this. So nothing to see here. But anyway, thanks ever so much for watching. If nothing else, if you've never tackled bodywork before, I hope you've been able to sort of see the stages that are involved in it. And don't be daunted by it. Go out and practice. It's just metal, and you can always just sand back anything you've done back to bare metal and start again. So really, if you're new to this, and I mean I'm a newbie to all of these things. 20 years ago I painted the roof of my Mini, but like I said, that was a long time ago. Go and have a go. And if you have any questions or anything, please do reach out in the comments below. Otherwise, I'm not going to touch any more bodywork until I've got a load of cash and I'll get some spare parts. So good luck, safe driving, and I'll see you all soon for another video.